Welcome to Espresso Yourself, Mom, Teacher, and Runner Talk, the podcast where lesson plans meet lattes and long runs.
We're four women juggling the journey of motherhood, teaching personal goals, and a whole lot of caffeine.
Here, we keep it real, the messy, the meaningful, and the moments in between.
So grab your coffee and join us for honest conversations, a few laughs, and a reminder that you're not in this alone.
Welcome back to Espresso Yourself. This week, we are going to spend time catching up, unloading on the crazy of all the holidays and the holidays that are coming up. So we are in full holiday season, and there's just so much to talk about, and how this past week has unloaded a beast of a lot of energy with our kids, our students, ourselves, that are going to lead into the following months. So we just wrapped up Halloween on Friday. And I know with it being a Friday, we were texting each other. We got to see Becky's cupcake costume, which turned out really, really cute, and just surviving the holidays, but setting the bar for all the holidays that are coming up. So how did you guys survive Halloween?
So Halloween in kindergarten, like they were amped up all week. And we've been actually talking about it all month and getting them to understand like the span of a day, of a week, of a month, what month it was. You know, we've been talking all about that. But the day of Halloween was like so calm. I mean, granted, like being fully transparent here, I did not do anything academic that day. I had planned on doing a couple of things just to like keep up with the pacing calendar, blah, blah, blah. But like, I was like, you know what? It's fine. A couple kids are absent because they don't celebrate. A couple kids went home early. There were treat bags. There was just a lot of decorating that we still got to do. We had just been doing activities all week pertaining to Halloween. And the kids were so excited to be in their costumes too. And they were like surprisingly, because I had done fifth grade for the last 3 years at my school. And every year we've done a parade. And fifth grade was always crazy. But kindergarten, they watched the entire parade. Then they joined in and they were in the most perfect line. Even when we went back into the building, they were so quiet. I said, "Where have you children been for the last 56 school days? Like, I have been trying to get you to be quiet, put that bubble in your mouth, don't touch the wall." And in costume, they were like, perfect. I was just so impressed. I kept telling them, I said, for the last 6 months, I have been thinking about this week and the first holiday starting, and I just have been loving everything. And I was like, you guys, I'm going to cry. And, of course, that like went over their head. But it just was like, felt like a really emotional time because I felt like I had been looking forward to this for so long. And we finally got there. And they were so cute. And I was like, Becky, you have to take all the pictures because the end of the year slideshow, it needs to have all of these like momentous occasions. And it just was cool. And then it was funny because my team did the Very Hungry Caterpillar as our team costume. And so I was a cupcake, and every single kid got that I was a cupcake. Now, for any listeners that did not see any pictures, I basically took a black round bucket, accordion folded a pink poster board, and then I glued it to the bucket. And my husband cut out the bottom of the bucket so that I could step through it. And then I was trying to do something else with the frosting with like stuff you put inside a pillow or a stuffed animal or whatever, but that didn't work out. So at the last minute, I was like, you know what? I'll just Cricut some sprinkles and iron them onto one of the million white shirts that I have. I can give one of them up. And like that worked out so perfectly, way better than I thought it was going to. So every kid got that I was a cupcake, and adults were like, what are you? Every kid got this. Every 5-year-old in the hallway got that I was a cupcake. And how do you not know? One person, now she's a school counselor, so this might fit in. She was like, are you a bucket filler? Do you understand that reference?
Mm-hmm.
My husband did not. Like there's a book called
Oh my
like
gosh.
How to Be a Bucket Filler or whatever.
And there's a second
essentially
one too.
Is there?
Yeah.
I and essentially, like, you're making other people feel good, but, like, I was like, "No, I'm a
Gotta be a
cupcake.
bucket
Here's my
filler.
caterpillar with me." Like, I was carrying the caterpillar because he eats through, all these different foods during the week, and so I was like, "This is nuts." All the five-year-olds were like, "Oh my gosh, you're a cupcake." So, that was just I don't know. And I live in the community where I teach. And so when we went trick or treating that night, I got to see so many of my students out there and their parents and past students. And like, it just was like, I feel like the rest of the week doesn't even matter because Halloween was probably the most fun that it has been in so long. I feel like now it's kicking off the craziness and the busyness of the holiday season, but, like, I'm here for all of it because now I'm like, "Okay, I need to think about what crafts we're doing for Thanksgiving," which I have some of, like, the traditional ones. But now I was, like, searching on my phone this morning, "Do I need to do Elf on the Shelf this year?" Like, I think I need to. And so now I
Yeah.
don't know which one to buy, how much money do I spend on it, and then I need to plan out what is the elf gonna do every day. So I am thinking, like, pretty far ahead, but as soon as we step into December, it's all gonna go by quicker than it already has been. So I don't know. The craziness of the holiday season is now upon us now that it's November 2nd and just, here for
So
it.
you
And
mentioned Elf on a Shelf. A friend of mine who I run with here, she does Jack Skeleton on the Shelf,
okay.
and she'll do it through the
A's would
whole month
love
of
it.
October. Oh my gosh, and she used to post she doesn't do it as much this year, but there was one year she posted every day what Jack did, and it was, like, little, like, mischievous little things or little tricks, and it was so cute and so clever. I was like, because the kids are so used to the elf
Yeah.
or whatever they
Yeah.
name the elf, right? And she brought in a little, like, literally the same size as the elf, a Jack, and she did Jack's skeleton on the shelf and all the little things he did, and her kids look forward to it every single year now. Like, they know, "Hey, it's Jack time. It's Jack time." And for the whole month of October, she does Jack Skeleton. It's so cool. I love it.
Now I'm thinking, do I want to bring out Jack because it's, the Nightmare Before Christmas because he has the hat, like the Christmas version. I'm like, I could bring him out with our elf and they could be mischievous or he could be mischievous.
Mhm.
Or do I wait until next year and make that separate? But I think it'd be easier to do them together and just have one thing to plan and not 2 months worth of it.
So
But
she
that's so
doesn't do the
cute.
elf.
Okay.
She doesn't do the elf. She only does Jack in October. And then like other teachers, because she's dyslexia reading specialist teacher, so she like pulls the kids out. So she'll see like the same kids K through 4 in her building. Her like older kids know who Jack is, and then her younger kids meet Jack. And so, but the other kids' teachers do the elf, and then she does Jack in October.
Okay,
That's so
that makes a
cute.
lot more sense now that you say what her position is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Say hi. Say hi. No.
No, he said no.
My kids would be up in the camera. Hi, 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 hi.
He's a little bit of a Sour Patch Kid.
That's how Hayes
He
is. I
said,
mean,
"No, I'm not."
last week he was all about showing it, and then the time that I was trying to get him to, he was like, "I'm not coming in." Oh, yeah.
And your pictures looked great.
Thanks, thanks. We had fun. So I'm gonna talk about what I did in my room, but before I do that, because Becky, you mentioned how it was like scarily like calm. And so since Oliver was like 1 or 2, we have always trick or treated in the neighborhood where my school is because one of my former students, one of my first grade students, his mom is actually our or our treasurer now. But I have just stayed connected to that family. She's got 3 boys. Her youngest is actually in my class this year, but we've trick or treated with them every year. Well, now Oliver's like friends live in that same neighborhood. So we trick or treat with them, but her youngest and his friend's brother are friends too. So we've all just stayed trick or treating in that neighborhood. We've for the last 8 years have trick or treated with them. But we were walking and she was like, because she's up in the office, she sees it all. Like she hears all the radio calls, all the kids that are getting sent. She was like, today was calm compared to yesterday. Oh my gosh, yesterday was insane. Today was like crickets. It was boring. I'm like, you know why? Because kids had fun things to do. Kids aren't acting up because they want to participate. Teachers are doing things that are more engaging than the regular traditional stuff. And I think it's funny because our boss is always like, stick to the curriculum, make sure that we are doing all the X, Y's, and Z's. And we're like, okay, but these kids need fun. So like we ended up planning out our whole afternoon after lunch. We usually have like our half an hour intervention block and then go into math. Well, we usually do like an escape room, but I found a Halloween activity that it had like 10 stations, all math related. Well, 2 of them we haven't taught yet, so I was able to take those out and just have 8 stations. And we made it kind of an escape room, but it covered everything we've already taught in math, and they had to go to these stations. So I ended up setting my room up. I went all out compared to the other teachers decorated a little bit, but I went like all out because the last couple of years I haven't had a group of kids that I could do this with that could handle it. So I wanted to like completely surprise my kids. So while they were at lunch, I like busted my butt in my room. I was like sweating profusively after because I got trash bags. Like I covered all the windows because I got my black lights out that I've had for the last couple of years. I haven't been able to use. I hung like spider web, like black webs up. I put decoration on the door that said beware, but then I put caution tape. So like when you open the door, it was still taped up where they had to like weave in and the kids had no idea this was coming. And so I put all the stations out, the 10 different stations. My boss knew about this because she was like, oh, you just have a way of making things fun. Like, because you have to. Like on a holiday like this, I'm like, but it's still academic because, heaven forbid we not stick to the academics. So, but like no kid wants to miss out on those kind of things. So they are going to be more behaved. But we pick them up from lunch. We walk outside because we didn't have to drop. We kept all of our intervention kids. We're like, we want to keep them in our room today so they can be a part of this. So she comes down to watch my kids, like their reaction. And they were like, wait, what's happening? What's happening? Why is it? Because I had the black covering on our door. Like you couldn't see into the room at all. And I was like, hold on, guys. I'm not sure if we should open it. Like I played it up. I'm like, I'm not sure. Oh, it says beware. I don't know if we should open this. They're like, come on, let's open it. So I like slowly open it. I'm like, and then I open it and the caution tape's up and they're like, they just beeline in. They don't even wait for like my directions or reaction. They're like, hold on, be careful. It's all right. It's okay. We can do like they were insane. Like they thought it was the coolest thing ever. So then I explained to them that it was a haunted house and they were going to pair up and their mission was to try to, get out of the haunted house. Like, can you survive? And when they completed a station, they had to bring it to me. And if they got it right, they drew out of a bag. It would either be a trick or a treat. If they got a treat, there was a bucket of candy they could pick from. If it was a trick, there were 10 bags they had to pick from. So it was monster toes, zombie hand, ghost poop, pumpkin guts, witch warts, skeleton bones. They were all kind of tied to the stations. So if they got a trick, they could pick which bag they wanted, close their eyes and stick their hand in it. That was hilarious. Like the one little boy, because I have him close their eyes and he was sticking his hand and I go, oh, and he jumped so big, like he legit was scared. And then the one kid who decided to touch the witch warts was like, oh my gosh, that's so disgusting. Like, what is that? And some of them knew what the items were. I'm like, don't say anything. That way other kids can get the suspense and fun out of it. But it was hilarious because like they wanted to draw tricks because they wanted to reach their hand in. And I was like, it's okay if you get a treat because at the end of the day, I'm going to let anybody who wants to still stick their hand in the things do. And then I like told them all what it was, but like the bell rang and we were still like going through the bags because they were just so excited about them. But like the kids were like, this is the best day ever. This was the best day. And then at dismissal, I'm like walking them out. And one of the boys was like, I can't wait to see what we do for Thanksgiving. I'm like, boy, what did I just do? Like Thanksgiving is not going to be like this. Like I just set the bar way too high. But I feel like that is what, like to me, I haven't been able to do that with kids the last couple of years because they couldn't handle it. Those are those memories. And that's what makes it fun. And those kids want to be there. And I'm like, when you're well behaved, these are the things we can do. But it was so much fun. I left all of it up at the end of the day. I didn't tear anything down so that my own kids at the end, when I picked them up from the office, they got to experience it because my own kids did not know anything that I was doing. Little Hayes, who loves Halloween, was like, "Mom, don't take this stuff down. I love your room. Keep it up. Don't take it down." Oh, well, sorry. And it was a lot of work to take down as well. But I'm like, most of it we can keep for next year. So it was the first year doing it. So it was more work, but it'll be worth it.
I was just in the upper grades, it's like the best thing that you can hear is the day went by too fast. Oh my gosh, is
Yeah.
it time to leave already? Like those, I'm like, oh, I am doing something right.
Yeah.
With kindergarten, we had a whole group hug and they're satisfied coloring and putting on music or whatever. But like in the upper grades, fourth and fifth grade for sure, like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And just like that
Mhm.
comment that you said, what are we gonna do for Thanksgiving? Like that, I know it's like not gonna be the crazy stuff of Halloween, but there's a lot of stuff to do for Thanksgiving that they're gonna love just as much. And
Yeah.
yeah, that'll be worth it. Just not crazy decorations. I don't know. Could turn your room into the Mayflower.
Yeah, it just won't be black lights and haunted, spooky. Yeah.
Because I've done a room transformation with black lights, and I don't know what it is, but the black light, they're like,
The
"This is the coolest thing
highlighters.
ever."
They were drawing skeleton bones on their hands. I'm like, "Oh boy, your parents." And then some of them would
Mhm.
come up and they would have like highlighter around their mouth. I'm like, "I don't even think they know that it's like on their face." But yeah, they just loved every minute of it. And I felt bad because my team, they didn't do the black light because it was like a last minute decision like the night before. I'm like, "You know what? I have these black lights that I've had. I bet I could put these up to make it like dark and like spookier." And so they were like, next year, now that we have this idea, like they can get black lights and they can do it. But I'm like, I'm going all in. Like, I'm just doing it. And I'm so glad I did because I ran into one of my students trick or treating then because we do it in the neighborhood. And that's always fun running into like former students. And it was my student that has like all the allergies. And so I had to be very careful. I had to be very mindful of like what materials and candy I brought in. When I ran into their family, I was like, "Hey, did he tell you about our day?" She goes, "Oh, that was the very first thing he told me." Like he was so excited about it. So like the fact that they were going home and telling all their families, like, okay, it's meaningful because those kids in the upper grades, they don't go home and say what they did. They don't usually talk about their day.
Well, and then junior high, they don't well, they do dress up.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you said that they have like free range almost, which is scary.
Yeah. It's not like some teachers will do some stuff, but it's not I don't know. I never did anything new. I couldn't do anything like new or important. So I'd give them just like an
Yeah.
easier assignment for the day, but they would come in their outfits and all that. But one thing I did get to experience at the admin building this year was so I've said I'm like one of the youngest people there. And so everyone's older than me. And we have a lot of like the secretaries and just the admin side of it. And a lot of them have grandkids and their younger grandkids and they brought their younger grandkids to come trick or treat our offices. But I didn't know this until because I don't get to my office till like midday Friday because I go to a morning meeting first. And so I'm getting there and I'm starting to hear like little kids and like, I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, oh, they're coming trick or treating. Luckily, I had some candy in my office.
You probably had candy corn for them.
I did have candy corn.
Also, candy corn was our vampire teeth, and it was so hard to find.
Really?
It
I had
was.
the
I could
big old
not
bag.
find.
I still have some left over too.
Yeah. I could find like it in like a mix that had like the little candy pumpkins and all that, but I'm like, just want candy corn.
Oh, I had a whole bag. If I would have known, I could have like shipped you up some because I still had plenty.
Were you prepared for the kids?
So I had some like wrapped candy that I had in like a little jar, like a little Halloween. It was like a little ghost. And so there was only about 4 or 5 littles that came. There was one little girl, she was in an alphabet outfit. And when I tell you she's like 2 years old, itty bitty little thing. She had the biggest glasses like ever. And it was the cutest thing. I was like, my God, I could die. You're so cute. And she came up and she's holding her little basket. And I was like, you want some candy? So I put one in. And then she reaches in my jar and takes another one. I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, I didn't need all that candy anyway. So I was like, you can take another one, whatever. But it was just really cute because, like, a lot of these ladies got to take their grandkids and go trick or treating, our offices, and it was kind of fun for us too because we're amongst adults all day in our office, so it was kind of fun to see, like, some of the kids and have them come get candy from us, so but, yeah, that was my Halloween was pretty quiet for the most besides them trick or treating, but, yeah, no, I didn't hear anything on campuses, though. I didn't hear anything crazy. I think it was just the normal Friday.
I have heard around, like just on social media and through my building, Halloween should be on a Friday every year
Mhm. Like Thanksgiving.
because not it's yes, yes. And not only, like, is it fun to end the week on just, like, a lighter note and, have kids still be engaged in all those activities, but then you don't have the aftermath of, like, after trick-or-treating, the candy. I sent out after our trunk or treat last week, I sent out a message to all my parents, "Do not send any candy in your child's lunch. Do not, check to make sure they're not sneaking it for snack," all that type of stuff, and, like, just I don't even wanna think about what the aftermath of trick-or-treating would be for kindergartners, but the good thing that my husband's district did, and I guess it was just a hurricane makeup day that they had kinda just planned, but they have a professional development day tomorrow, and so that's 3 days after Halloween with no students, and I'm like, "That's kinda nice."
Yeah, it's kinda
It's kinda
genius.
nice, but I'll take the weekend. I'm fine with my students tomorrow, but yeah, yeah. So it's just a no student day for them tomorrow. I
There's
think
another district in my area doing the same thing, not ours, but a neighboring one that is taking like, having professional development tomorrow, and I was like, "Oh." I didn't think about it till now, and I'm like, "That kinda is a good idea to give the kids, like, a whole other day."
Now, I feel like our district, that would be, like, frowned upon only because we just had parent-teacher conferences, and then that Friday was off. So we had, like, that whole week of fall break, and then another Friday for conferences, and then if we had another one, they'd be like, "How many days are we taking off?" Because parents with childcare, that kinda becomes tricky, but yeah.
So what are y'all, like, getting into this week now after all the Halloween's over and we've only got, what, like, 3 weeks till Thanksgiving?
Yeah, not even. Well, we took
Mm-mm.
our iLearn checkpoints. I don't know if all what the other states are doing, but in Indiana, we've got our iLearn tests that we take at the end of the year. Well, this year we have checkpoints. So we have 3 of them before the spring test. And so checkpoint 1 covers all the standards that we've taught so far, and we do reading and math. And then we take that data and we look at it and say, "Okay, where are kids? Are they at, below, approaching?" And then the checkpoint 2 covers the next set of standards. So this information is supposed to help us like with reteaching and getting the kids where they need. It was depressing because we get the information within 24 hours. Over 50%, and it wasn't just my class, it was all the classes. 50% were in the red, meaning they were below, not even approaching. And we're like, how at what point do we reteach these and we work on these things as we're moving into these next set of standards for the next checkpoint? And it's like all we're doing is test and test. Same way with math. Like everything is pushed at such a high rate and cramming everything in, which is what's taking the fun away from our kids because we have to stick to the schedule to fit all these skills in because we don't have any wiggle room to get it all taught. Well, at that rate, kids are not going to master things because you're just pushing, pushing, pushing. We're all feeling already that like burnout because of the level of demands that we are putting on our students. Like as teachers, we're like, we have all of these demands, but I feel like we're now pushing those onto our kids. And it's just like trying to find the time for fun. Like our admin has changed it now. We used to be able to go to all the kids' performances. So like first grade just had their show and they used to do the show for the entire school and the day of their night show for their parents. Well, admin changed it now that the whole school doesn't get to come watch it. Only the grade below and the grade above can come and watch them. Like so many of us are extremely upset about it because also like if I had a buddy class, like we have a kindergarten buddy class, but yet we don't get to go watch kindergarten because we're not a grade above, but that's our buddy class. So like it just takes away some of that school morale. Like in a staff meeting, we were asked to write down what are things that are taking away from our academic block. So we all wrote things down that do take away. Well, then she took those things that we wrote and started taking them away because they're interfering. We're like, but she was like, yeah, you guys mentioned. So it's like putting it back on us. We're like, you asked us to write down the things that cut into our blocks. So we were honest with the things. That doesn't mean we want them taken away. Like, that's what builds the school morale. Like, that's what makes kids want to come to school. So it's just, we're all feeling,
That's
all of us are
tough.
just like in a hard place right now. So it's,
It's so deflating.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough when an admin, like, uses those type of things. I don't wanna say against you, but against you. It's hard because 'cause I've seen both sides of the coin. I've seen the admin side and I've seen the teacher side, and, like, one thing I've learned just from being around leaders is good leaders I've seen don't use that stuff against you, and it's hard. I'm like, "Don't like, y'all know better. Y'all were in those shoes at one point."
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, "Don't forget what it was like." Yes, you've been out of the classroom, but don't forget what it's like, and that's one thing, like, I've always said, I'm like, "Yes, I'm in this role, but continue to put me in the classroom." I still wanna be in the trenches. I still wanna see what it's like. I don't want to get so disconnected to where I'm like, I don't know, because 'cause I'm not there." No,
Mm-hmm.
send me to the room. Let me sit in the classroom and observe because I don't wanna forget. Like, my boss, she does a great job. Like, she's in classrooms at least 3 days a week, at least 3 days a week. And I think she does a good job of just, like, staying in it and seeing how she can, like, help and support principals. Well, really, she supports principals, but, like, she sees what teachers need too, but not everybody does that. And then, like, your admin, they're using those questions, I hate to say
Yeah.
against you.
But here's our thing too. If, okay, so maybe it's coming from higher up and she's being pushed in a certain direction as a leader for our building, right? But then just be honest about that. Don't just say, okay, the direction that we are going for the, instead of making it sound like, I got to be careful with my words. Can't say
And then
too
from an
much
admin
'cause-
side, you don't know what's being said.
yeah.
Yeah, like, you don't know what's being said, you don't know the conversations, and sometimes you have to go, "Okay, we'll do it," even though it's hard for you. I don't wanna say necessarily agree, but to kind of, agree to what is being done. You're gonna do it because that's what you're told to do, but it's still hard. Like, I think there are decisions day in and day out, even from the upper admin that they may not
But
wanna do it either,
yeah.
but, hey, that's
But my
what's
thing is
being
just be
told.
honest and open about it, because like, when we have to do things with our in our classroom and our kids are like, "Ugh," I'm like, "I'm sorry, but this is, this wasn't a me decision. This is something that we have been told that we need to do." And I don't, like, act like it was a my decision and, like, no, I'm just, this is what the direction that we have been told that we have to lead you in, instead of, I don't know. It sucks because I just feel like we're just pushing, 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 and it's not developmentally appropriate.
Part of the reason why I had to move out of I guess they're intermediate grades, not upper grades, but it was like, and a lot of people this year have said, listen, Becky, it's probably good that you're in kindergarten this year because they're pushing, pushing, pushing because we weren't an A school last year. And so like even it was like not county, it was like a town, like our town didn't have internet on Thursday, which of course is a huge deal for everyone, people who work and, we use the internet all the time at school, but they were supposed to give a benchmark test in math on Thursday. And the benchmark test goes on the computer so that the district can see, it's kind of like your checkpoint, Allyson.
Yeah.
And but it's just from the district, not the state. But they couldn't give it on the computer because the internet was out. So they were in the copy room, like making 600 copies of these tests. And, of course, everyone's trying to make copies too. But one person suggested, why don't you wait till Monday? Like, why don't we do an extra
Right?
review day today? Tomorrow's Halloween. Like, and they're like, we have to stick to the schedule. And I'm like, okay, but there's a time and a place for understanding when it's not like it's out of your control and pushing it till Monday is not a big deal. It's not, especially
Mhm.
when our state testing doesn't happen until May and it like instead of March, where I was typically used to it. And so you have a little bit more time to get through all of the standards. But no, they were making all those copies. And then tomorrow, they're going to have to input it into the computer anyhow. Like it has to go into the computer because
Mhm.
the teachers aren't going to grade this. Otherwise, the district doesn't see the data. But, best interest of the kids. And we probably could complain about the things that our districts are doing. But, I think it's important to focus on the kids and close the door, do the things, and move on. That's it. I don't know. I'm
So
at the end of my hallway. People don't come in.
it's interesting you're saying that. I think it kinda, like, goes into what my project is for the next, like, month and a half. They're having me go into classrooms and film 45-minute lessons of teachers, and I have a list of 20 teachers, and they range from elementary to high school to what we call fundamental skills or our life skills class, and so I started going into classrooms this week, and some teachers were really, like, nervous and didn't want me to come, and then others are like, "Okay, let's just knock it out, like, let's get it done." And some are like, "Oh, they want me to do it?" Like, they felt, "Oh, wow, like, they really like my teaching, they wanna see it." And I did come to find out, like, they chose teachers that are of a higher caliber, and so they're using this to calibrate their scoring when they do their teacher scoring, which we call I'm not sure if y'all call it this, T-tests? So ours is called T-tests, and it's like our evaluation system. And so they get everybody together, all the principals and assistant principals to make sure that everybody is calibrated together, and they use these videos as ways to get calibrated as practice. And so they hadn't done this in like 3 years. And so now they're like, "Okay, can you go and film?" And so I went into 2 elementary classrooms and a high school classroom. The high school classroom was fun because I got to see a lot of former students because it was my feeder high school. And so it was really cool. And funny enough, my boss's daughter was sitting in the classroom as I was filming too, but it didn't click until halfway I was filming. And I was like, "That's so and so's daughter." And I like texted my boss. I was like, "Your daughter's sitting in the class I'm filming." But I didn't get to say hi to her because literally from bell to bell, I was filming. Like I didn't talk to anyone. I was just kind of like in the back, silent, not even there. So that was fun. But the elementary one was funny. Y'all, like both of them were very entertaining classes. The first one I went into, I think it was 2nd or 3rd grade, and the teacher did a great job. He was phenomenal. And I was like, "Do your kids know, like, I was coming today?" And they're like, "Yeah, yeah, he knew, like, they're gonna be fine." And I walk in and they all start waving and they're so excited I was there. And then there was one little boy, I'll never forget, he was sitting towards the front and he turns around and he just kept looking at me like mean mugging me the entire time. He did not like that I was in his room. He did not like that I was there filming, and he just kept the whole time, he just kept looking back, looking at me. He'd walk by, look at me, "Who are you?" Like, did not care for me in the room. It was really funny. And then this other elementary classroom I went into, the teacher, she was so entertaining. Like, she did the voices, it was just really cool to see the range of teachers that we have in our district and just, like, how good they do. Because before I never, got to see any of these teachers. So it's cool that I get to see the different range we have and the different styles of teachings and also just like our different groups of kids. Like she kept apologizing and I was like, "Don't apologize. I want to see kids being kids. Like let them be kids. It's okay. Like they're going to have an attitude. They're going to not want to do the work. It's fine." Like I told her, I was like, "I taught junior high for 10 years. Like I get it. I get the attitude. I get that. I don't want to do it." It's fun for me to see it and be back in the classroom and also kind of get an idea of, okay, what are they doing? How are they doing things? How can I better support them? And so before I left every classroom, I said, "Hey, if y'all need something, I do instructional technology." I was like, "Please let me know. Like, I want to be able to help y'all, better support you." I was like, "If you need something, please just like call or email." Because I just want them to know, like, I wasn't there just to film and like leave. I was like, "No, how can I help you?" And there was one point I wasn't filming yet, and she was still teaching her first block before they swapped, and one little boy, like, did not know what to do, and so I didn't even ask her, I just went over and started helping him. I was like, I mean, you always have that teacher in you, so I was just like, "Oh, I'm gonna," and he was like, "Oh, thank you so much," and I was like, "You're welcome," and so you just kind of jump in. So that's like you said, you do what needs to be done for the kids at the end of the day, and the kid didn't know who I was, but I said, "I'm gonna start helping you," but it was fun to see the different rooms. I have think 3 more this week and then like 2 like this I'm gonna be doing them like every week for the next month. So I'll have different stories.
That's
So
really exciting. That sounds fun. I love traveling to see other classrooms.
I know I wish we got to do that more as teachers. Like I think that would be so much more helpful. So I have questions, Katie, on that end. You said like for a baseline, like you're recording these teachers. Do they know you're coming? So it's not like a
Yes.
surprise
There is
observation where
no
the
like
principal walks
it's
in. Okay, and are these teachers picked
No,
for,
like, it is not
like
a gotcha.
is there, like, a rhyme or reason for how they selected the teachers that were getting recorded? Like, so, like, they're
So
using them as a baseline for
they did
evaluation,
choose
right?
none of them are first-year teachers. None of them are, I hate to say, on growth plans
Yeah,
or
yeah.
needing that extra help. They're I I wanna say, like, a higher caliber, a higher teaching standard, and the ones I've seen are just phenomenal, like, they're all good. Me sitting there from, like, if I was to evaluate, there would be little things I would tweak in those lessons I saw. Some of
Mhm.
them, I'm like, "I don't think you need any tweaking." If I had to pick out, so I can tell that they've asked the curriculum coordinators, the directors, "Hey, who do you want?" And so from that list, they chose, and then they gave it to me, and I reached out. Like, I have a running list of people who I can email and not email yet because their principal hadn't talked to them. So, no, that's like, I do not want to be that gotcha person. If anything, I'm just
Yeah.
trying to be, what do you need? Like, more than helpful, because I don't want them to see me as I'm coming in and I'm being the evaluator. That's not my job. Like, I'm just there to
Mhm.
film. I'm enjoying your lesson. And that's what I tell them. I'm like, I'm just going to sit there, film, and enjoy what you teach. That's all. And I always tell them, "Hey, you did a great job. Thank you so much." Like, because it's their room, it's their space, and I'm going into their safe space. And so I never want them to feel like it's like I'm encroaching. I'm like, "No, you're welcoming me in, and all I'm going to do is sit there and film." So, but yeah.
So, do they, like, when they're looking at all the videos, do they only look at, like, elementary ones together and, like, middle school, or do they look at them at the same? Because I feel like that's very different teaching styles to evaluate.
So they do come in with those different, because the lessons are going to be different. I don't know what they're going to do with the videos after I edit and put them in folders. I don't know what that calibration looks like because I haven't sat through it. I've watched my boss do some calibrations and she's kind of told me how she does them. But I mean, they're not all going to like compare high school to elementary. Like
Yeah.
they're not going to do that. But they want that range. So when they go to these principals, who, like, one principal's at the high school and the other one's at a junior high, they'll give them those, like, strand of videos, because I do have, like, multiple for each grade level band. Like, I think I had, like, 7 for elementary, 6 for junior high, and I think I have, like, 4 for high school. So they've got that variety.
Love that because I feel like when you're, at least for me, like, getting evaluated, there's such a discrepancy between one person that comes in to evaluate and the other. Like, because last year, for instance, at my very end, it was our assistant principal who came in and did my final, and my scores, like, were a lot lower than what I've ever gotten. And I'm like, why? Like, explain this to me. Like, I met with him because I've never had an issue in any of these areas for the last 5, 6 years. But then you come in and all of a sudden it's very different. So I just think, yeah, that discrepancy is
Well, and that's
very
why they try to
challenging.
do the calibration, is to
Yeah,
prevent those discrepancies, because they don't want one AP, scoring super low and the other one scoring super high. So that's another reason why they do these, and they meet to try to get everybody on the same page.
yeah, I like that. So, as teachers, and we're getting all these evaluations and all this pressure put on us at the same time as having fun and bringing out what really matters to kids because we've got all these holidays, but all these expectations and just trying to survive, not feel the burnout, and enjoy the real reason for why we do what we do. And on top of that, it's November, days are getting shorter, it's getting darker. So, how are we surviving? How are we going to keep that spirit up for our students and for ourselves? And so the next few episodes, we're going to dive into more of the holiday and how we survive and keep pushing through. Thanks for sipping and sharing a moment with us today. We can't wait to keep showing up with you each week. Messy, caffeinated, and real.
And if you liked what you heard, we'd be so grateful if you'd follow, subscribe, or share this with your teacher, bestie, mom group chat, or training partner, or all three. It helps more people find our little corner of chaos and connection.
And don't forget to connect with us on Instagram at Espresso Yourself Podcast. Tell us what resonated, share your own stories, what topics you want us to cover. or just come say hi.
Make sure to hit follow so you don't miss next week's episode.
Until next time,
Keep showing up.
Keep giving yourself grace.
And espresso yourself.
one
Sip
sip at a time.
Cheers.